because here's what I do know. Fidelity Digital Assets just did a study, right? Institutional investors care about three things. I didn't really care about their interest in crypto. I know that. I talked to them. What are their concerns? Market manipulation, volatility, and the last one is fundamental value. How do we value these things? There's no framework that we can follow. Is it realized cap? Is it stock to flow? Right? Is it what you use? Like, there's so many different things. The asset managers, the folks in my seat, they don't get that. They can't follow it. It's like market cap. It's like it stops there. And if you're trying to get them, that doesn't apply here, you know? So when you realize now that there has to be this slow graduation of trying to create a framework for advisors, that's why I look at your work. So now, like, I'm actually doing a poolside talk later today with some institutional folks, and I have to create this framework for them using all of these things, right? The work of Coinmetrics, yourself, right? Long Hash, others, to get them to understand, well, this is how the smartest in the space look at value around crypto. Some of this may be of value to you. Even stock to flow. I'm not over the moon about stock to flow, right? It's a model. We all know how models work, but there's some of that I can take away and have a comment. Oh, okay, I get it. That helps in the gold conversation, if that's how you want to framework. So, but anyway, long-winded way of saying is, like, when you talk about retail, it's like, yeah, that those alerts being in the app or whatever, great. And then the education piece, that we talk about educating the average person. We are the gateway, and I say we, financial advisors, to trillions of dollars of retail assets. If we don't get it, right? Like, we need to start to understand it. And I feel like it's my responsibility to go to my community and be like, this is how you create some framework around crypto. Here's how I did it. Y'all are a lot smarter than me, so I know you can do it. Here are some things that you should look at.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't sell yourself short on the, on the intelligence piece, but that makes sense. I mean, you just even look at what's going on with Robinhood, like how that's essentially an enormous hedge fund, like the biggest of the biggest hedge fund. And it's just comprised of retailers essentially, like, saying, like, all right, well, I'll put a couple, I'll put $1,000, a couple $100 in there and just play with it. See if I can hit a home run with some of these different things that are out there. But if you can, again, move that more towards crypto and even make it less from a speculative, standpoint, from a long-term value perspective, then there's going to be a lot of interesting things that will come out of that. And I tend to agree with you. Like, long-term, I always want to emphasize this whenever I talk to people. It's like, I'm super bullish Bitcoin and digital asset space long-term. I've essentially staked my career, and reputation on it as such. I look to just add a little bit of value in terms of being able to spot some of the areas that might be opportunistic, like the local inflection points for individuals that maybe want to take some profits off the table, or maybe want to get a little bit cautious and not chase that, Venmo, PayPal pump, or the Libra last year, 2019 pump, and then ultimately buy at a 13,000, and then it's going to reverse. If they're not familiar with sort of like the ebbs and flows, just the general volatility of this particular space, but also give them an additional, like, data point to be maybe a little bit greedy whenever they see Bitcoin fall to a 4,000, a 5,000, a 6,000, to say, hey, historically, this is a pretty dope time to buy. And if I believe in the long-term premise of the value that it's going to attribute, not tied to stock to flow or any other sort of, long dated model, then it's like, all right, I can be a little bit more greedy in how I dollar cost average down in some of these particular opportunities. So that's good to hear. And that's good feedback for me, knowing that I need to, there's still room to grow within Telegram.
Yeah, the way you just explained that is exactly what financial advisors want to hear. That's what institutions want to hear. Like, it's like, here's the stripped down reason why. I know you guys at some point do reviews with clients, or you have, meetings with your LPs or GPs. You got to talk about when you're going to take some off the table. Here's why I created this framework. Also, by the way, you may be looking for a good entry point. This price level has always been a good entry point if you have clients that have an interest in, Ethereum or Bitcoin, whatever the case may be. So, yeah, I feel like that, whatever it was, 30-second breakdown right there is like, you capture that, you can send that out to everybody. You have more clients you can take on, because that's really what that distilled thought process is, what we look at, right? And why I do follow a lot of people that, you know, and read a lot of people that look at the day-to-day, the week-to-week, because it helps me now in conversations and when clients reach out and like, all right, you know, what should I be doing here? Or is now a good time to, because again, if you do work with clients who own a lot of crypto, they're looking at, are they stepping into DeFi and collateralizing some of their assets? Are they looking to, all right, I have a large position in Bitcoin and I want to lend against it to be able to pay down some debt. Advisors need to know this stuff. Well, it looks like we're in a range here where the price will be pretty stable. You want to do that, you want to do that now. We're in a heightened sense of volatility, sit on your hands. Like, these are all things that we could use, but which is why, again, a lot of financial advisors are going to get fired when this space runs again, because they are completely clueless and not building the resources and tools around just making their practice accessible to clients that own digital assets. So if you're not conversant, you're fired. They're going to go to somebody who's conversant and able to speak to what it is that they're able to do. And I tweeted this, was it yesterday or the day before? An advisor reached out, and there's a client who took some BAT and collateralized it with some ETH. And the advisor was like, Tyrone, I can't even read this email. He's like, I don't understand what any of this means. What is this? So like, that's going to happen a lot more. But again, I think as they're exposed more to your work and others, I think we'll start to get, some demonstrative success here and getting advisors in the pool and growing that knowledge base for all investors.